All right, and we're live. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Come on in the building. Uh, Glad you guys are in here tonight. Tonight, we're talking about it, the mind of men. We're going to get into the conversation tonight. Yeah, we got a little bit of a feedback, but we're good now. So, look, you guys, welcome to the show. I'm your man, KTJ, and this is our show. We talk about how men think when it comes to dating, relationships, and love. And we got a hot topic. I brought my boy Marv in the building. Let's go speak to the people, Marv.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing tonight? This is an important topic. I'm looking forward to this dialogue.
Yes, yes, yes. And so we're going to get into it. And so I thought that this was important. My boy James Bush is coming, and he'll be able to share some thoughts and shed some light on things. But I thought this was a good topic, you guys, because yeah, everybody saw what happened to my man Will Smith. We had a whole show about it last week, and yeah, it was crazy. It's amazing how what one day, what can transpire in one day, like can change everything for somebody and all of us in this manosphere and in this masculine world. And so I'm sure, ladies, if you have some thoughts on some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight, I encourage you to come on in and share your thoughts on the things that we're talking about, because I feel like this is an important thing to know, and just to have the conversation about what's going on with men.
Yeah.
Right. In the section down there below, in the comment section, Brother Marv, I put in there, we're going to I'm going to ask some of the questions, and I want to get your opinion. My boy James Bush is coming. We'll get his opinion. But and some of you guys in the audience, you can ask the question. I want to know, like, things like, what does it mean to love your girl, love your wife, and is it important for you to listen to her? If you listen, Marv, if you listen to your lady, does that make you a simp?
Good topics.
You know
Good
what I'm
question.
saying?
Yeah.
We talked all about our boy Will Smith. He's he's been the subject of much conversation, you guys, and a lot has gone on. But you keep hearing this same idea that he's being called a simp. He's called following a follower of his wife, and that's the reason his kids turned out that way. So I heard somebody say the other day, because I heard somebody say it's out of godly order,
Absolutely.
and all these things. And so, but for men who are in relationships, I feel like there's a little bit of a crossroad right here, right?
Yeah.
Because a man wants to be alpha, a man wants to be somebody who can take charge, but where is the line between being the leader, the guy who takes charge, and being a simp because you listen to your wife?
Yeah. The balance.
Right? Talk to me, Marv. What you think?
Well, I mean, that's one of the most difficult challenges that husbands or men face that are in relationship. Um, I want to be attentive. I want to love my wife. I want to love my lady. Uh, but I'm still a man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's a thin line. And then it's all depending on the lady who you're with. We have some ladies who, some sisters, they struggle with that submission word. I mean, that's they you throw that submission word out, they're ready to scrap. So so I tell you, it's this is a tough, delicate how do we make the decision when you're in a relationship? Because there's times that sometimes you can give in a little bit, and then
Mm-hmm.
when you realize, what, this isn't good, and then
Mm-hmm.
you kind of pull it back. They view you as being wishy-washy.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to say to yourself, okay, I want to make her happy, but yet I still got to do what I know is best for our relationship or best
Right.
for our marriage. And that's the thin line, man. This question has been asked for years, brother.
Yeah. 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 And I think it has been asked for years,
Hmm.
and there hasn't really been much conversation, I feel like, about like where is the line?
Yeah.
You know, like yes, a man wants to be the man. He wants to be the guy that's in charge,
Yeah.
right? But sometimes your ideas are not the best ideas.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the woman in your life has the best ideas.
Sure.
Sometimes she's the smartest
Hmm.
on certain things, and you'd be a fool not to listen to her.
Oh yeah.
Look, if she's better at finance, you'd be a fool not to put the finance in her hands.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
what's the guy to do though?
Well, it's a trust thing.
Mhm.
It definitely has to be trust, and you definitely need to, when you selected men, you're selecting a wife or a mate. You definitely want to pick somebody who is really, I want to say, qualified to 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 for you to say, okay, I'm going to follow your lead,
Mhm.
because I just know that a lot of times from what I just see, because I'm in the real estate, I help couples. This is a
Mhm.
perfect example. So I'm helping couples with one of the most major decisions they're going to make, and that's purchasing a home.
Mhm.
So the husband has ideas, the wife has ideas, so I'm in the middle playing counselor.
Mhm.
So the goal is to say, okay, how can we get you two on the same page and give you some stuff to make you happy, give her some items that are on her wish list, and we can have a happy medium. But I said all that to say, when you're definitely picking someone, you're going to want to pick someone who doesn't have a problem with you being the man, but will understand, okay, if she has a good idea, she's going to come to you, she's going to talk to you, we're going to lay it out, and we're going to plan it out, and if her plan is the better plan, let's go for it.
Right, right, right,
you
right.
know
So it takes a little bit of just understanding roles, I
yeah.
think, and understanding strengths and weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
And so Marv, this to me is look, we all adults and we all grown, so we just talk the talk, right?
Yeah.
This sometimes I think is the thing that people miss when they're so far involved intimately.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you miss a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Look, I don't agree with everything that my man Steve Harvey said, but something about that 90-day rule,
That 90-day rule.
like there's some truth to that. That
Yeah.
in those 90 days, if you hold out at least those 90 days, like
Yeah.
you're gonna learn something about that person that
Absolutely.
tells you yes or no.
Absolutely.
It's going to tell you, will they respect you, or does it always have to be their way?
Yes.
Or like whatever it is going to be, like, are we going to be a good couple going forward? You
Yeah.
want to figure that out in the first few days. But if
Absolutely.
your mind is hazy because
Hmm.
now you have skipped all them steps,
Yes.
all those steps in between, and now you're totally into the intimacy,
Yeah.
you miss everything.
And definitely, for fellas, for both, you definitely want to wait, because that definitely clouds. It
Mm.
clouds, man. Because a lot of times, you're thinking, all right, I could push this to the side, because boy, she's good.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Or vice versa, the lady could say the same thing. you
Mm-hmm.
know, because I've seen some ladies with some guys, like, man, what is she doing with him? But he
Yeah.
was taking care of business.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
he was taking care of business, but couldn't keep a job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or couldn't lead. But
Mm-hmm.
so that is definitely important. And I think as we get older, you kind of lean towards wisdom to say, okay, let's push this to the side, the intimacy, and let me really get to know this person who I'm with.
Right.
And
Right.
you
Right.
ask the questions, how do you feel about this? What are your thoughts on this? And then you
Yes.
just watch their lives. You look at, how are they house? Do they pay their bills? That's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing. I'm taking notes. I'm taking
Yes.
inventory.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You know,
We got my girl, Regina Saunders over here. She said, "Look at her intentions."
yes, that's good.
Okay. Remember King Herod in the Bible. All right. So LV is here as well.
Hmm.
Chosen Queen. She said, good evening, Kelvin. Welcome back, Marv.
Hey, tell us a hello. Welcome back.
Yes, yes, yes. And so, ladies, look, go ahead and drop y'all questions. Look,
Yeah.
we all in here together tonight, right? Drop your questions on kind of maybe some things that you're seeing in that's going on with men, questions you have about men. I do shows on TikTok live, and they got a million questions, bro. I can't even catch all them questions.
That's
I'm
good
like,
though. That's good that they're asking because that's good because I'm liking now that women are starting to say, "Hey, let's hear what the fellas got to say. Let's hear,
mm,
what does it take? What is a man thinking? Because maybe what I'm doing isn't working. So I
yeah,
am excited to see that women are starting to kind of like value our opinion.
mm, yeah, yeah.
That's been
Cause
the issue before because they didn't.
yeah. Look, that's because they were with the rise of women's empowerment.
Come
Sometimes
on.
that can go a little off,
Yeah,
and some of the I don't need a man, I don't need a man. They start to realize like, wait a minute. If I don't have a man, that means I got to do everything by myself,
everything by myself.
and nobody wants to do everything by themselves. So my man James Bush is here in the building. What's happening, good brother?
What's going on? What's going on, fellas? What's going on, Kev? What's going on, Marv?
Hey, what's up, my brother? How you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing all
All
right.
right. Yes. James Bush. Good, James, you go ahead. You gonna say that out loud. You go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Because y'all just hit on that topic so perfectly. It's one thing when you have some individuals in our society who have been listening to the same individuals, the same person, the same pastor, the same deaconess, the same auntie, the same grandmama, and they're not getting the results that they want to have in the end.
That's right. That's
and
right.
as time, and the thing is, and so a lot of people they don't understand this, but as time moves on, yes, we are more of an educated demographic. I'm talking about women, that is. They are more of an educated demographic, but they're also intuitive as well, too. And they also know what's working and what's not working.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So drawing your water from the same spring is not working. I'm gonna go find somebody else that got it. That can do for me. And that's what I'm saying. Now, granted, the people that they're listening to, it's debatable on
Yeah.
what they're saying or anything like that. But I think that's what has led to the migration of, hey, let's look what the fellas have to say about certain topics. Why? Because it's not working. And what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And at
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
time,
So
after great disappointment, humbleness is there waiting for you.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Look. And so, ladies that are watching, go ahead and drop your questions down below. We're gonna answer. We're gonna talk about it. Listen, we're gonna talk about some of these issues, and we're gonna start with my girl LaDonna right here, fellas. She says, "I have always had to lead, and I am tired."
Ooh,
Let's just stop right there. Share your thoughts.
wow. She
She
said
says,
she
"I've
always had
always
to lead
had
and
to
she's
lead,
tired.
and I'm tired. What happened?"
Well, I would say to my sister, thank you for jumping on. I would say you, and I say this, and I want to be gentle with it. Why are you picking these guys? They can't
Mm,
lead.
mm,
You
mm.
know, if you gotta, you gotta say to yourself, why am I picking guys that can't lead me? And then look at what am I doing to qualify these men,
Mm,
right?
facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, before we go further, if you want to get your comment on the screen, go ahead onto the YouTube channel, you guys, and leave your comment on the YouTube side, and I can put it on there. Either that or the Love Coach Atlanta Facebook community. You can definitely drop your comment there. Look, Sharon Kimberly Thomas, she said, "Oh my, she just spoke my heart."
Mm,
She said, "I just quit."
mm,
And listen, I imagine we're gonna see more of this.
yeah.
Because listen, the independent women movement, like it sounded good,
Sounded good.
right? It sounded good to be able to just do your own thing and look,
Hmm.
and of course, for all of us who have daughters and like we want to encourage our young women to go and be great, right? But at some point in time, you got to remember who you are, and what your real role is.
Yeah.
You know, and so when you find yourself tired and exhausted from leading all the time, you start thinking about that, like, you know, what's the real role that I should be in?
Yeah.
You know, so
now I agree. Who you picking? You know, what are you doing to qualify these brothers?
Yes. Yeah, my man Robert Lee's in the building. What's up, good brother? He says she must learn to sit back and let the man show who he is.
That's it.
Yeah.
Character. I like to watch people. I'm big on character.
Yeah.
And I like that 90-day rule, like you said, because you know, person gonna be able to act just, you know, only for a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm keen on the character.
Yeah.
I look, you know, it's, you know, if I'm looking for a lady. I'm looking past the beautiful hair, the weaves, or whatever, the nice body. I'm past that, because at the end of the day, what's in that woman's heart?
Yes, and head.
And head. Those
Yes.
two right there, heart and head.
Yes.
Because that right there, you listen. I told my one son, you know, because I have two older sons that are married, and he was dating this one girl. She was real. I would say she'd be like a 9. And then he had this other young lady that he actually married, because I told him to, who I'd probably say on a good day is a 6 or 7, but she was good. She was loyal. She worked. I said, son, I want you to look at how many 9s and 10s are married.
Oh, I think you fell in the matrix a little bit there.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, you good. You good.
Yeah. So I told my son, I said, son, I want you to look at how many, you know, 10s and 9s are like married. I said, you mostly see 4, 5s, and 6. And he's been with her going on 7 years. And I got 2 beautiful grandsons in the Air Force doing really good. And so, you know, you just got to look at the character of the person. So women that are looking, you got to look at, how is this man, you know, is he responsible? You know, let's say he has kids. Is he responsible? Does he get his kids? Does he pay his support? You know, you got to look at all those, because that right there determines if that man's going to be able to lead.
Yeah. Yes. So let's talk about this, you guys. And Regina, she's got a good comment. She said, character and integrity are at the top of my list.
Absolutely.
So that's good stuff. So let's talk about it. What is an alpha man? James. What is we hear this term a lot. We hear this term, the high value man. We hear this term alpha man. We hear all of these terms, but what really is that? What does that mean to you? Or you could just tell me what it means to you.
I mean, the fact is that when you talk about a high value man, that is something that they had coined back in the manosphere, where they talked about people like Sylvester Stallone, celebrities, boxers, you know, those the sports world who earn a high amount of money or anything like that. But what it didn't do is it didn't relegate to character, moral values, core values, and things along those lines. And so now you have this, I guess, somewhat of a conundrum when you have this person who can provide you financially whatever is needed, but morally, character-wise, and emotionally see to your needs in that space. They can't do anything about that because they had a deficit themselves. And it's the balance that goes along with that at times. And so you have people that are making these shifts and they're trading one off for the other, or maybe I could take a little bit of this and have an agreement or an arrangement type of situation with this man, because I don't want to live like I grew up in the same type of household or the way that I saw my other family members grow up.
Yeah. No, you said a mouthful, and when you talked about the high value man, so the way I think about it is, let's say you're in the village, and you know you're in the village, and village it might be under attack.
Yeah.
The guy who's known as the high value guy is the guy who brings the most value, right? The guy who's gonna save the village from getting pillaged, right? Which is all great, and that's all wonderful, right? But it doesn't say that he has a good character
Yeah.
necessarily. It doesn't
Yeah.
say that he's caring, that
Yeah.
he's a good listener,
Yeah.
that and none of those things. But it's just he can defend, he can protect,
Yeah.
and maybe and provide
Yeah.
in the way that in the very basic ways that maybe some others not can't necessarily do. So so that's it really comes down to what you consider value.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you value? If your values are only about money,
Yes.
then the guy who makes the most money is the most valuable.
Yeah, I think that's what the issue is, Calvin. I think women have realized that, and like my brother was James was saying, yeah, this dude's making a lot of money, but he treats me like garbage. He doesn't love me.
Mm.
He doesn't value me because he has so many other options. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of those guys, they're going to have women on the side
Yeah.
because they have options,
Yes. That's the way
right?
it goes.
Now, but here's the thing: there is a lot of good when we say high value men who have integrity, who have character. Um, but I think a lot of them are being very selective. You know, Now for me, like an alpha male or male, I would my definition is a man one who is a spiritual man, knows his purpose, understands that why he's here, wants to fulfill purpose, wants to fulfill his destiny. He's goal oriented, right? He's gonna accomplish his goals. He's gonna accomplish his dreams, and then he wants, when it's all said and done, he wants someone to enjoy it with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really looking for, he really don't need a wife, or a lady, but he wants one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Don't need a woman to take care of you, and especially in my case, don't need one to cook, don't need one to clean, to keep me in my house, to clean, but do my line. I can do all that myself. Most high value man can.
Mm-hmm.
They're able to they're able to accomplish whatever it is they need, fulfill their needs. They just want, when they're ready, they want a woman for companionship and someone to spend life with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Good stuff. Good
Mhm.
stuff. We got a good comment over here from Yawanda. She says, please understand today's society of women roles are raised to be survivors.
Yep.
In last could generations, let me make sure I'm saying this right. Because of single family households not raised to be wives,
Mhm.
because it's not the environment most women are raised in or
Yeah.
raising the daughters as single mothers. Survivor.
Yeah.
She's saying, how can you teach to be a wife when she's not living in husband and wife environment?
Well, one good thing is that I remember when I was young, and I was in a church. I would say get some mentors.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was, I had some brothers who were sharp. These boys, electrical engineers, professional brothers, right? Some young, when I came in, I was young in the church, and these are professional, strong men, had strong marriages. They took me under their wing and
Mm-hmm.
mentored me.
Mm-hmm.
When I messed up, they were there to say, "Okay, man, you blowing it, you messing up," and then their wives would be there to help the wife. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say find a good church, or find you some good couples that can, a good lady that's been married for a long time that can mentor you,
Yeah. Yeah.
or some
Good
aunts or
stuff.
uncles, someone who's been being a wife. That's the
Yeah.
key. Don't listen to them single women because they'll keep you single.
All right. Well, look. So let's move on to this next question, though. Let's move on to
Hmm.
this next question is about now. So we gave a pretty good explanation of high value, alpha man sort of thing. How about the beta guy, beta male, or they call him the beta male mangina and all that stuff.
Mm.
So tell me in your definition, in your thought, what is a beta male?
You want to go, Ma? Because I can go. I'm gonna go after you on this
No,
one.
I'm gonna let you go on this one, man. I was go ahead. I'm gonna let you go on this one.
So sometimes, I mean, when you look at an alpha male, they talk about someone who is fierce, who is courageous, outspoken, outgoing, entrepreneurial, knows what he wants in life, and knows how to go and get it and everything like that. When they talk about betas, they look at someone is a subservient, as we say in the community, a simp. You know, someone who they just are needing to be attached to someone and will do whatever they need to do in their capability to keep that person around. They cannot stand alone. It's like somewhat of it's not like I want to say it's not as vicious as a parasitic relationship, but it's almost in the sense of that if that person leaves them, they wither, they shrivel, they are a shell of themselves because of them being in that moment. And unfortunately, that kind of relationship, that kind of behavior does not bring out the best in an individual. You see what is the rest. You see, actually, what you're watching is somewhat of a traumatic experience that is matured, full grown.
Yeah. Good.
Happens.
Yeah, that's you said a mouthful. And so when I think about that idea of a simp, it's really just kind of like he's following. He's more of a follower than a leader, right? So he's following society, trying to do what society says is going to be right. He may even follow what his woman says is going to be right. When there's a decision to be made to go north or to go south, to go east or go west, he thinks east, and she says west, and he immediately just goes on towards west, meaning that he values society's opinion. He values his woman's opinion, even beyond his own opinion. And so I think that's where it gets dangerous. And when you're not following your own thought and making your own decision, you can be controlled or manipulated very easily.
Oh, you want to say something, James?
Go ahead, Jay.
No, go ahead, Marv. I'm gonna come on and tail in on that. Go ahead.
Well, a lot of why I think a large reasons why we have so many simps is because we've had a lot of single moms raising. I call them mama's boys. Essentially, that's what they are. A lot of the simps, they're mama's boys. For whatever reason to be that there wasn't a man around. I don't, we won't go into that. But they're mama's boys. They've been, mama's been there all her pampering them, holding their hands, coddling them. So that when they leave mama, they go to their wife. They want their wife to be mama.
Mm-hmm.
And women, that frustrates women.
Yeah.
That frustrates women. So ladies, when you out and you're dating a man, you got to look at that man. If that man's not responsible, or he's living with mom, or he has his own place, but mom's like always there, that's a problem.
It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem.
Mom's always, calling. Mom's, and I love my mom, but at the end of the day, you can't bring mom into the relationship.
Yeah, true words.
And that's a key. I see a lot of simps or men that were raised without men, and they mama's boys.
Yeah. And you know what that really is like the need to be fulfilled. It hasn't happened, right? There's that spot, there's that place that they're feeling like I'm really not enough. I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I know, and it really is probably rooted in low self-esteem.
Absolutely.
And so the question, now that we define it, you guys, y'all tell me, can a man go from simp to alpha?
Yeah.
Is it possible to go from simp to alpha? Tell the truth.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Yes, I truly believe so. And that's what I was going to pull up on the end. Like what you guys have mentioned, I'll take about 2 minutes on this. Like what you mentioned earlier, raised by a single parent or so like that, father in and out of life, had a lot of guys around, but you don't have that concrete to show you how to do things and the way to do things as pertaining to the type of learner you are. So what I did was I filled in a lot of the blanks by myself as an adolescent, as a young adult, and going through my marital stage or something I looked at it and says, I want to do everything that you didn't do, because what you did broke up the family. What you did made things go awry. And so what I did was I overcompensated in a lot of different areas. And sometimes when you begin to move into that direction, you can take on simp-like tendencies.
Yeah.
But what I told, and I don't mind telling my story at all. When I got divorced, it seems like everything that I needed to learn in that moment. I tell people that's when manhood kicked in for me.
Oh yeah.
That's when the confidence came in. That's when the assurance of knowing who I am, what I can do, what I bring to the table, and not really being so moved by who is here or who's gonna go. I tell people rejection is a blessing.
Yeah.
Once I find out that you ain't supposed to be here, you ain't got but a certain amount of time to be around me before I let you go. And those are the things that happens when you start to come into your own. I'm blessed to be 40 years old and to have the life, the ability, the youthfulness, and the vigor to chase whatever I want to chase in life. And believe you me, sometimes when you step from that simp-like behavior to becoming into your own self as a man, they will call you arrogant.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They will say, man, that you just not like, you just don't care. You just don't care. No, because what happens is that once you find out who you are, the spaces that you're supposed to be in and the spaces that you're not. One of the most rewarding feelings a man can have, because then he says, okay, I know, lady, you're not for me. You're not for me. You're not for me. You look good, but you're not for me. You're not. But you know what? I can work with you because of what I know. It's not a guessing game, and I'm not being disillusioned by distractions and things, man, that can tear me down in 5 years.
Yeah. I got a question coming after that, but go ahead, Marv.
Well, I don't know if you guys ever thought about this. I see a lot of brothers that are simps were manipulated by their mom, because mom wasn't able to hold a relationship. So now you the man of the house, or she's identifying you as the man, right? And then what I find a lot too, I've seen a lot of mothers where, they didn't want their sons to leave, so they want to keep them around and manipulate them around, and then a lot of guys become simps because of that. And that's the behavior that they're accustomed to. So they'll meet a woman, and then the woman is doing the same thing that mom was doing, manipulating them.
Yeah.
Right. And like my brother James says, you gotta learn, you gotta learn your value. You gotta learn your value. I think of some of the women I was with, I'm like, what the heck was I doing with them? Right. Because I really didn't understand my value. And then another thing too, I had the mindset that you want to be a fixer, you want to help, because that's what you did with mom.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You help mom. So then now you start to, you with women who are needy, and you say to yourself, well, they're to my detriment.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I just see that thing where women got to be very careful, because we look at all these simps that are out here. They were raised by a single woman. This is the byproduct of what they put out.
You know what?
My baby and my this. And
and some of them were raised in houses that had a father, but sometimes he was also a simp. And I look, and I'm gonna get to some of these comments here, y'all.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Like, it's a lot easier to rock the alpha role if you're single.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But can you rock the alpha role as a couple? Because we know anybody who's been in relationships, any kind of long-term relationship, you already know it's about a lot of sacrifice.
It is.
Right? It's about a lot of compromise, and you got to say yes to things that you've been okay, if she wants to go, we'll go.
Yeah.
Right? But how do you avoid being the guy pushing that shopping cart, looking like the world just dumped on him, and how do you avoid being that guy and also stay in a healthy relationship and feel that alpha masculine role? Like, how do you do that?
It's tough. I haven't really been able to be good at that because I'm like James. I've been viewed. Oh, I've had women tell me, "Oh, you a male chauvinist," or you old school. Ain't nobody thinking like that now. So I found that whoever I'm with, you know, if they're not a strong woman, they can be distracted by the other women saying, "What you doing with that man? He control you. He try you." So you have that dynamic. So I don't know, man. I it's tough. I'm to the point, man, where it's like I don't know. I've had some friends tell me, "Marv, you need to leave them sisters alone and come on over where I am," because they would Sally and Sue, and I'm like, I don't want to give up on my sisters. One of my brothers was like, "Man, you need to get you a Pentecostal girl. Go with another culture. Come over where I am." It's tough, man, because sisters, man, they don't like that word submission.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't like it.
But listen, they don't like it, but for a lot of times the men don't know how to perform it. Because
How?
look, if you're gonna say submission means getting under the mission,
Yeah.
right? Get mission, right? Getting
Yeah.
under the mission. If
Yeah.
you want her to get under the mission, you gotta have one.
Yeah. I know a lot of brothers who do, and it's been a struggle for them because of that. It's been tough. I've talked to
listen.
a lot of men, and they're like, "Man,
yeah, it's tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just don't know how to articulate the vision. I'm not saying it's not, it can't be done, but a
Yeah.
lot of times men don't understand how to lead and how to set the vision, how to create the idea, how to pitch the vision, how to set the direction for it, and give like the positioning, give her something to
But
get
here's the
under.
problem, though, Troy. I get what you're saying. I think a lot of men do have that ability, but if you're dealing with women who's never been taught and modeled on how to submit or to follow, because a lot of sisters they're used to, like one sister was saying, they're used to surviving, they're used to of taking charge and being the head of their lives. So it's tough for a lot of women to meet someone and to say, okay, I'm gonna give up a little bit of this. I'm not going to say control, but I'm going to allow you to lead me. A lot of sisters, it's tough for them to do that.
Yeah.
And that's when you're early in a relationship, you got to have those conversations.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? What are your thoughts? That's why I always ask, what are your plans? What are your goals? What are you looking to accomplish? Right.
Facts. All right. Let me grab a couple of these comments here, and then James, it's on you next. So Yawanda, she said, preach Cal. She said she's enjoying the conversation. She said most alpha men can't because they don't know how to compromise for peace and still be a leader. What say you?
There's some truth in that.
I agree with that.
There's some truth in that. And those men got to learn to balance.
Got to learn how to balance.
Like I don't have a problem if you got a better plan. I'm like, okay, let me see what
Yeah.
But ultimately, though, here's where it's delicate, though, because it's tough because a lot of times, we've been taught, women been taught, get your career, go to school, get your education, all that, which is no problem with all that. But most of the time, men they're not really looking for that. They're looking for, especially if you got a good man who has character, he's accomplishing his goal, he's goal oriented. He's looking for someone that's going to come in and assist and be a part of what he's doing. Right?
You know what, Marv? Hold on. Let me stop you right there for a minute.
Okay.
Because I'm having conversations, and I do these love coach sessions, and there's something that has come to my attention on just what you just said.
Yeah.
Right. What I'm finding is that there's actually two kinds of guys.
Yeah.
Right. There's one guy who is that guy who wants a woman who can come add value to him. They can do business together. Like they can. I was talking to a guy tonight about that, and he wants to get into the trucking business,
Yeah.
and his idea was like, look, if I just had a good woman who could
Yeah.
who would come in, learn dispatch,
Yep.
like she handled the dispatch, I
Yep.
handled the actual trucks and the
Yep.
hiring of the guys, and we got us a almost $1 million business.
Absolutely.
Right? He says, but I can't find a woman who will take on that role of like being my partner in business,
Yep.
so that we can go up together.
I
Right?
know a lot of brothers that struggle with that.
Yes. So that's one kind of guy.
Yep.
But then there's the other kind of guy who's not thinking about none of that. He might work down at the post office, right? He do his 8 and skate and come home, and let's say he works hard at work. Let's say he's the mailman, right? And the mailman, like, that ain't no easy job.
Yeah.
To get in and out and getting chased by dogs and all of that, right? So when he comes home, this guy probably just wants a nice clean house. He want to come in the house and it smell good. She smells good.
Yeah.
The bath smells good, and the bed's gonna smell good.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
So that guy, he's not necessarily looking for her to fulfill the addition role on the building side. He just wants the homemaker, the woman who makes a house into a beautiful, soft, wonderful place to come home to.
So you got to ask women, I ask women, what are you looking for in a marriage?
That's what I ask my client.
Why do you want to be married?
That's what I ask. And look, and my client, she actually got a breakthrough through that conversation that I just laid out, because she didn't know really what kind of woman she was, and really like what kind of man to look for. And so she said, you know what? I'm woman number 2. I don't want to be a career woman.
Yeah.
She said, I don't want to go out and help him slay a dragon. Let him slay the dragon all he want. But when he comes home, he gonna smell the food before he hit the door.
Come on.
He ain't got to do nothing else. I'll take his clothes off. I'll make sure he have a hot plate, a hot bath, and a hot bed. and she was like that, and that's what I'm good at. I already know that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And so people also have to just kind of know those roles and have those conversations, you know?
Yeah, that's really important. I mean, because I look at my lady that I'm seeing, she's 3 masters. She's doing her thing, right? And I come along, I'm doing my thing, but I'm actually excited about what she's doing, and I'm actually helping her to accomplish some of the goals that she have. I'm not intimidated by it. I'm encouraged by it, right? But yet she still would say, okay, she cooks. She still would, say, okay, I got to make sure that I have time to see you as my man. I like that, right? Because I foresee don't need a housewife. I'm the man that I could do everything on my own. I just like the companionship.
Yeah.
Right.
And
someone I can share life with.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with either side.
Exactly.
Right?
You got to figure out what works best for you.
What works best for you, James? What you think?
So what I'm reminded of is when a NFL or NBA team, when they go and they're trying to put a roster together, and they've already been playing for a number of years, they see that they have a gap or they have a need. They go and they scout out. They have scouts who have watched these young men since they were in middle school to see them coming up through the ranks. Who's who can do what. Okay, Tim Tebow, you're not a quarterback. You're a tight end. Or, man, you're a running back. Or you're something. But you ain't going to quarterback this team. And the fact is, you may look good on paper. You look good doing what you were doing by yourself individually. But when you come on my team, when we are in a team, when we are trying to support a mission or accomplish a goal, which is to win the championship, or for some people in marriages, it is, man, to start a business or to start a foundation or to be world changers or so. Can you work together with me? Can I work together with you to accomplish said goal? A lot of times that is not possible because you don't have the prerequisite skills. You're not available enough. I mean, maybe that is not your bag or what you want to do. So when I'm looking at couples and I'm saying, what was the purpose of you guys coming together? I remember Kelvin, you was on a Clubhouse about maybe it was another celebrity couple that had just broken up, and they had broke up within maybe 2 years or 2 or 3 years or so. And the main thing we was asking, what was their purpose? What was the purpose of them coming together and doing this? Was it just, man, to try something out, like trying on a new pair of shoes, or was it for them to actually accomplish a goal? And were they vetted enough? The thing is, for guys, I look at us sometimes because why? We didn't do our homework. Number one, we're not in position, we're not in place, and two, we didn't vet the individuals who are around us enough to say if they fulfilled the need that we had at that moment.
Absolutely, that's good. That's good. That's good, man.
Yeah, and you're totally on point. And so look, Yolanda said, she said the same thing. Up front, communication is understanding what role she wants. It's very true. My girl, Chosen Queen, LV, she said, yes, the mission and the vision must be clear.
Yeah.
She said, won't submit, it stays submitted. It won't submit, it stays submitted to a mess.
Yeah.
Essentially, she can't stay submitted. Yeah. It won't submit to it if it's a mess.
Okay.
Absolutely true. My girl Melanie Bruner is in the building. One of our therapist friends. Let's see, where did it go? Her comment disappeared. Yes. She said, you wanted to say, yes, indeed, James. Ask the right questions and be prepared to accept the role.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. So, yes, yeah. And so I think we have to have these conversations. My man Will Smith, he lost it at a crucial moment. We did a whole show on it last week. If you haven't seen it, go ahead, feel free to pop back and check out that show. But it. So now we're at the point where it's kind of the aftermath.
Yep.
I didn't do it on purpose, but I happened to just check out his TikTok. For whatever reason, I heard his name came up somewhere, and I was on TikTok. So I said, I already followed him on TikTok, so I just let me see what Will doing after Oscar Day. Nothing. I mean, it was as if a brick wall happened right at. He got pictures of him and his wife, in their outfits, and they cheese, and they look good. The girl, look. I don't know if y'all saw. Did y'all see her dress?
Yeah.
Yo,
I think it was a Dolce & Gabbana, one of those expensive dresses.
Man, that thing was beautiful. Like I didn't really get a full view of it until I saw this picture. I was like, man, that dress was amazing.
Yeah.
And she wore it to a funeral. They got dressed for a funeral. They thought they was going to a celebration, and it turned out to be a funeral.
Man. That's a clear, like the backup what James was saying. Will, I bet you if Will can go back to his young self, he probably would have stayed with that first wife. Because Jada's not really supportive of him and what he, she's not like Mrs. Denzel Washington or Miss Samuel Jackson, right? She's not. They're there to support their husband. Jada's about Jada, and that's important, man. You look at Michelle Obama; she supported Barack.
Yeah.
And she was just as, had a great career, an attorney making good money, educated woman. But she was an example of, I'm going to support my husband, and he obtained the highest seat in office. So I know Will is like, dang.
But I mean, I think in this situation, and that's why he got the thumbnail, because he is kind of the picture of what we're talking about here today, y'all. Because I'm telling you, it's a lot easier to rock out alpha and to be the strong masculine man and the high value man and all of that when you are single, right? but can you like how do you keep her happy? Because that guy, you got to give it to him. That guy he just wants to keep his wife happy, which is really the goal of almost every husband,
To
right?
what extent, though?
But to what extent? How far do you go to
Yeah.
keep your woman happy?
I know dudes are broke as a result of that. Lost homes, lost,
Yeah.
it's you got to be able to say no. I lost a wife because of that, because I told her no.
Hmm.
Daddy didn't tell her no. I told her no.
Yeah.
After a while, you got everything you want, but sooner or later you got to say no,
Yeah.
because I can't get everything I want. None of us can get everything we want, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
It's
So
true.
you got to say to yourself, you gotta, as a man, you gotta say, okay. I mean, I'm giving her. I'm giving her everything she wants, but this is really setting us back as a family. We're
Yeah.
not saving. We don't have a cushion, right? We don't have anything saved for our future. So I don't know. You got to learn. I'd rather sometimes just count my losses.
Hmm. James, what you think?
I mean, I'm definitely in agreement with Marv on that. I think sometimes, I mean, because like he said, he lost him because he said no. Mr. Me Too, I did too. So my point being is that it goes from a place of knowing your core values, knowing the mission, and
Mm.
knowing how to get there. I just
Yeah.
got on the phone with my lady, and she was talking about a situation with one of her folks. They had just bought this beautiful automobile,
Mhm.
Hmm.
but they had buyer's remorse.
Come on.
Because the fact is that after you buy the automobile, there are certain maintenance schedules that you have to keep.
Mm.
Yeah.
There are certain things that you have to do to keep that nice automobile looking like that nice automobile. And it's a
Hmm.
little bit more than soap and water that you got to put on it every other week or so. My point being is that by evaluating what really matters to you and what you want to do can keep you out of these situations. And
That's
when it
right.
comes to making a couple and being in a team, a partnership, the fact is that person's strengths and that person's not so strong points.
Mhm.
And in that moment, you making an executive decision to say, hey, look, you got the hot hand in this. I'm going to keep feeding you the rock. But
Mhm.
guess
Yeah.
what? This is where I am strong at.
Mhm.
Let's work together and see if we can do that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that a lot of people are missing because, one, it's hard to do those things when you don't know yourself.
Yeah.
You don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely difficult. So like y'all just talked about saying no and being solid. I think it also comes back down to the mission.
Yeah.
And we got some good comments going on over here. Look, I think it comes back down to the mission, right? And listen to this. I think you have to continually refer back to the mission,
To the mission
right?
or the
Right?
vision. Yep.
Because and the vision, the mission, like again, why are we together?
Are we together?
Do you know how many people are together and don't know why?
Yeah.
People are together because they were together yesterday, and because they were together last year, and they just together just because they together.
Yeah.
And you think about like, well, what is the real point of even being together if you're not doing something together?
Yeah.
You know, whether
That's important.
you on one side of that thing that I talked about, the couple builder, or the homemaker situation, right? Either way is totally fine, but what's not fine is for people to just be and not have any of this really defined. And so I think it comes back to that. Like you got to continually, you can't you're almost everywhere that you might work, like there's a handbook of what is the expectations, right? And even and so ever so often they might have these workshops that kind of reinforce the idea of what the purpose is and what we're supposed to be doing and how we stay on track. So they have those meetings.
Yeah.
And I remember watching somebody online and they talked about they have family meetings, couples meetings every Sunday.
I used to do that.
Yeah,
I'd have
yeah,
I'd have them once a month. Sometimes if it gets a little tight, I say, okay, we got to do this every 2 weeks. We got to
yeah,
come together as a family. Oh,
yes,
absolutely.
yes.
I
And
ran my house like a business. I'd say that people looked at me like I was crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's definitely necessary because it keeps
Yeah.
everybody on the same track.
Yep.
And if everybody's on the same track, it's hard to get off the track.
That's right.
Marv, if they don't know that marriage is a business, tell them to go see a divorce attorney. And
I'm telling you.
Ooh.
It's very much a business, and you will watch
Business.
your business untangle and unravel right before your very eyes.
Yep.
Wow.
It's a
Powerful.
business. And here's the thing too. I don't know if you've noticed in Calvin. I've never seen so many people in their 50s, close to 60, single. Society wasn't built for that. So now there's another dynamic that you're single, meeting a person. She has assets, he has assets. It gets even more complicated, I find, in the 50s.
Yeah.
What we gonna do with the house? What we gonna do with your house? What we gonna Then you have kids that are licking their chops looking like, okay, dad, what about the cars and the house and all that? She just gonna come on in and so you got that. It just makes it more difficult when you're in your 50s or your mid 40s and 50s and you've acquired stuff. It makes it even more difficult to find somebody and to find that right person, right? Because you got to have those conversations.
Yes.
You have assets, you have
Absolutely.
savings, you have 401ks, you have right.
You gotta have it.
You gotta have these conversations.
Now the thing is, some people don't want to have the conversations because they end up in arguments.
So then
so you know how you avoid an argument? You don't bring it up.
That's the worst thing to do. That's the worst thing to do.
Yeah,
you gotta bring it up.
No, they don't bring it up. You just keep going, and
you gotta bring it up.
Next thing you know, 10 years have gone by, and what do you have to show for it? Nothing.
Like I've had a conversation real quick, and I've asked, okay, you have insurance policies, and I'll move on because this is for some people that are out there. You have insurance policies. What are you going to do? If we get together, I have so many kids, you got so many kids. These are conversations that you gotta have.
Gotta have them.
Go ahead, brother.
My girl, chosen queen, LV. She said, not only referred to, but adjusted as necessary. She's talking about that the vision and this the vision submission, the mission and the vision. Not only referred to, but adjusted as necessary. Your family mission and vision should be taken seriously, not shelved to collect dust. That's a good comment.
Yeah.
My girl LaDonna said, if it's not growing, it's time to end it. She just raw with it.
Well, I mean, you're not getting any younger.
She just raw with it.
You gotta, don't, because I've known a lot of, folks have wasted precious time, and it ain't going nowhere. Or you waiting on him to propose, or you waiting on her to make some changes, or to get her degree, whatever. I see some crazy stuff. It's like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah. Facts. LaWanda said, exactly, Kelv. What's the point if it's not clear on vision in your marriage or relationship? Yeah. So how do you look, and you guys keep an eye out, because I'm working on the show. We gotta come up with a show on how to break up. Mr. Breakup. We got to talk about that. You ain't
the only one, brother.
Because it's a difficult conversation, but some people would like to do it, but they just don't know how.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do it safely. They don't know how to do it emotionally safe. Like they don't know how to unplug from something that's just not working. And so we definitely need to put that one in the queue and have some conversations on.
That's good.
On letting it go, because you gotta let it go.
I was thinking the same thing. I gotta let it go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So look, and you guys who are watching, look, if y'all got some more questions, go ahead and drop them in the queue, in the question there, in the queue there, as well. If you're on the YouTube side, I'd love to hear your comments. We got some folks watching. drop your comment down below. Like, you got a question for what's going on with them in the minds of men. That's our topic today. That's our show today. We're talking about it. How men are thinking when it comes to dating, relationships, and love. So ask your question. You got three men here. Look, hey, I was doing a session on Sunday, you guys, and a lady paid me a great compliment. She said, I had to book a session because I needed to talk to a man with some sense.
Go ahead.
I was like, normally that would have just kind of like went past me, but I thought about that. And I said, well, that's a great compliment, but why is that so rare? Why is that so?
Well, I would ask who you're keeping company with.
Yeah,
there's a lot of men with sense out here.
Yeah,
it's just, are you in their circle?
And there's also a lot of men out here with no sense. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. But we're not. See, it's funny when we say that, because when I talk about men, I don't even be worried about them dudes, because I'd be like, listen, you as a smart woman, y'all smart. You know what that dude all about.
Yeah. Yes. But they still choose. But they choose them, and we got a show for that one too. Yeah. Like, why do you choose? Why did you choose him?
Why?
And there's a good reason. There's a good reason.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Yolanda says, financially, I mentioned earlier in my Will Smith comment, it's cheaper to keep her. She said it's cheaper to keep her. I guess you talking about Jada.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would disagree.
Somebody might say it cost him everything
to stay with her,
to keep her.
That's what I'm saying. It cost him too much to keep her. It cost him too much to keep her. I mean, you doing stuff like this, man, and I mean, think about it. Entanglements, red table talk. Right now, they're gonna be. I don't know if you heard, they're going to be discussing what happened at the Oscars on the red table talk. That's killing him, man.
Of course.
Killing him. I'd rather count my blessings. I'd rather say, here, take half. Kids are grown.
Yeah.
This is costing me too much. If you want me to throw my life and everything I've worked for, I'll say it this way: you can't make everybody happy. You can't make everybody happy.
My girl, Miss Furlow speaks. She said, Will is a forgiving man.
To his detriment.
Yes.
I mean, man, dude. I mean,
too forgiving.
He lost a Netflix deal. He was working on a movie. He resigned. So I don't know if people understand, when you resign from that industry, how are you going to work? What you going to do?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, true.
It's a union you belong to. You belong to that. What are you going to do?
So you know what? I got a question for our therapist on the panel, Brother James.
Yes, sir. So
when a man has lost it, like he has had enough, like he's blown his stack, like that emoji, and he has to figure things out. He has to like recover. How does a man recover from all of when your situation just blows up in your face and you just feel like lower than low? Like, let's just say a place where like Will Smith would be after all of that. Because we know what we know about Will Smith is that we know he's a thinker. Like that guy's a very cranial person, right? So he's thinking about all of this. He's thinking very deeply about it. And he wished the whole day would have just been extracted and he could just skip the whole day. I know he's thinking that. So like, what does a man do after he's blown up and he's blown it all? And what happens? What happens the next day?
I think one of the first things that has to happen is he has to get some time to himself. He has to understand that there are a sequence of events that have led to this situation occurring, and the emotional response, i.e., the emotional response that emanated from out within him. He has to get to a place where he is to say, okay, you know what? I've been going down this road. This isn't working. It's time for me to get some individuals around me who I believe can help me put this thing back together, because obviously what I have and what I've been doing is not working. The people that I've been listening to is not working, and it's getting this. I look at it as similar to for information. A coach, when a GM comes down and say, "Okay, you know what? You're out of there. We got a new coach coming in because we need a different mindset. We need a different conversation. We need a different atmosphere within this building because in the end we want to win." Well, that's the thing for Will. At this point in time right now, what you're doing is just showing that, demonstrating that you have not had the most successful season. I mean, you've played catch up in response and emotion, and you are struggling with ghosts, mainly Tupac. And so my point being is that we have to get to a space where, okay, like, you know what? This ain't where I want to be. This is not how I want to live my life or what I want to do. I need to regroup. And sometimes that takes a bit of getting away from all the hubbub, the lights, and everything else, and just coming back to yourself and find out, what do you want to do going forward? We can keep doing this. We can do a lot of red table talks. We got enough money. They ain't gonna hurt for that. A bunch of different things. But if I want to do something different, now is this probably
Now
is
it's
the
time to
perfect
do it.
time for him to regroup.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about divorcing. I'm not talking about any other kind of stuff. I'm talking about him as a man. Perfect time for him to get his life, because there is no really where to go but up from here. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom. We say that in Alcoholics Anonymous and Sex Addiction and Narcotics Anonymous. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you're able to have that change, to have that moment that spurns you to change, that spurns you to take action. When the pain of staying the same is more than the pain of change, that's where you have to do something different.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that's good,
like,
man.
yeah, and like you said, like, they've got enough money. They got enough money. This guy, he probably at St. Bart's out there on the island right now, because he's not doing anything on social media. He just froze everything, and
I mean, but Kel, but be honest with you, could he really come back out right now and
no,
put a whole bunch of happy-go-lucky clips
No,
about love, about
no,
people, about
no.
life,
That's
about
been tarnished.
right now? His message has been. It reminds me of our other well, the Black Manosphere. Well, he wasn't from the Manosphere. Was it Derek Jackson?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh boy.
The stuff that happened with him, it
uh-huh,
was immediately he couldn't do. Now he gonna do what he gonna do regardless.
yeah,
About somebody of Will Smith's character. We talk about somebody who has built a career over 30 some odd, 40 some odd years. This is his life. This is
yeah,
what he enjoys. He's on a passion mission now. He don't need no more money.
right,
I think too. If it was me,
He has to do it.
I definitely agree with James. I would pull back and take some time, and I will ask myself, how did I get to where I am?
Yeah.
I will self reflect. I will look at, okay, what role did I play? Right? Because oftentimes when we do blow it, a lot of times you want to shift the blame and not look at, okay, what did I do to contribute to this situation? Right? So if I was Will, I would be like, okay, how did I get to where I am? Then I will forgive myself for acting out and doing what he do. I have to forgive myself and say, okay, Marvin, this is how you got to where you were. You have to forgive yourself. And then I have some choices to make. As being, I would go to my wife and say, hey, listen, if you don't if what I'm doing is not good enough for you, if you don't feel love, because that's what she said, if you want to go, I'm gonna let you go. Because I think what his struggle is, he's trying to fight for somebody who don't want to be with you. That's
yeah,
just my honest opinion. So I would say, hey, listen, I love you. I've shown you that I love you. I've tried to give you everything you want, but if this is not good enough and you're not happy, I give you permission to go find your happiness.
But can I ask Marv on something real quick?
you got,
Hmm.
So when you go have this conversation with your
Hmm.
significant other,
Hmm.
remember, for 20 some odd plus years, you've
Mm-hmm.
been doing things a certain way.
Yeah.
You don't, that battery don't come in your back at a moment's notice. You got to go through some processing. You got to be built up. You've got to really start evaluating, how do I need to move forward? What do I need? It's like the kung fu and karate pictures of the 80s and 70s we used to listen to. The protagonist got his ass whipped in the beginning, and then the 3/4 of the movie, he spends training, working out, learning, growing, getting stronger, so he's able to defeat the antagonist in the end. Now, I'm not calling Jada unnecessarily antagonist. I'm talking about the idea and the sense and what it's doing to the relationship sense. Is that he has to grow and he has to become stronger within himself to confront those things that are bringing him down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
Look. So here's my thought, and both of you guys laid it out very well, right? I think that he's got to investigate the calling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, he couldn't have made that happen or made that more clear if he tried. Right. Yeah. My man said, "I feel a deep calling."
That's what he said.
Is that right? So you feel a deep calling, do you?
That's what he said.
Because everybody that I know who felt that deep calling had to go through some deep adversity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? And the deep adversity didn't just happen when he went on that stage and smacked the guy. Like that was like an explosion of a part of that. Yeah. But he was going to have to go through some things anyway. And so it's like, it's almost as if it springboarded him into the next phase of whoever he's going to be.
Yeah.
Right. So like, there's a couple things that I feel like, and you guys and you folks in the audience, y'all dropping some good comments here too. Tell me, give me your idea. I'm gonna give you my idea of what natural steps he can take to turn this all around for his benefit. All right, for his benefit. After he then went to the woods, after he went to the mountain, and he saw the promised land. After he did all of that, and he comes back.
What do you think he should do?
What do you do? What do you think he should do first?
Wait.
Okay. I'm going first.
Oh, you go first. I'm sorry.
I'm go first.
You go first. My bad. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Here's what I think he needs to do. He needs to figure out how to turn this whole thing around to make it funny, right?
Okay.
So I'm suggesting because he ain't gonna be able to do nothing in Hollywood for a while.
Okay.
Right. But there's plenty of stages out here.
Yeah.
I'm suggesting he get with Chris Rock.
That's where I was going.
Get with all of the top comedians and do do the slap do the slap tour.
Yeah.
Right. And all the comedians, it could be a roasting tour. Right. A Will Smith roasting tour, the slap tour. Right. They get together and the comedians can come on, some of the top comedians around, and they go from city to city just roasting Will Smith. They go and fill stadiums with this. Will Smith can fall on the sword at each one and just let him have it. Everybody's gonna have a laugh about it. It'll be bigger. It won't be bigger than the Oscars. There's nothing bigger than the Oscars. That was all around the world. However, we as a people, we have a short memory.
Yeah.
And we really only remember the last thing you did.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
You turn it around and make it like the roast Will Smith tour, slap tour. Even at one of them stops, have Chris Rock come on stage and he stand like this and pow like let them cameras catch that smack back. It's gonna make all of them famous. It's gonna make everybody laugh and makes everybody forget all about the last thing that happened.
It's funny you say that because that's what I was gonna say. I would first of all, I will get on my knees and go to Chris Rock and be like, bro, I need you to help me to fix this. Because Chris Rock got to agree to this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm man, my bad. You know what I'm dealing with at home. I was wrong, bro. I was wrong, brother. Because
You know what
Chris
I'm
Rock
dealing with.
divorced. Let's keep it on it. Listen, man, I blew it. We friends because they was boys.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to help me get out of this, man. Let's put together a tour. Let's do a roast. I sit on stage. You get whoever you want, and come here and let's do this. And then I would tell Jada, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go and talk to Chris, and we're gonna make this right on his, however he wants, sees fit. And we're not doing the table talk.
Yeah.
I am not going on the table talk, Jada, and talk about what happened at the Oscars. We ain't doing that.
Right.
And if you want to do what you want to do, but I'm not going on there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. Right.
Because the table talk is not enough.
It's not enough.
It's gonna be okay. I mean, it's a platform.
No,
look, it's a platform.
Think it'll hurt him. I think it will hurt him.
Yeah, I think so too. Because it's more of the same.
That's what got him in the mess they're in now.
Yeah.
That you have to defend. So I would say, Jada, we ain't doing the table talk. And I'm gonna go call Chris Rock and we're gonna make this right. Whatever you want to do, Chris Rock, and let's get out here. Let me apologize to you. I like the idea of having the slap tour. You should probably reach out to him and send him that since you're friends with him.
Yeah, we're friends.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You on his yeah. But that's what I would do, man. Yeah. And I tell my kids to be quiet because you got the son out talk about that's right. Everybody be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talk.
Right.
And that's what I would do.
James.
I don't disagree with nothing you guys said. But in practical sense, it's hard to put the genie back in the bottle.
Yes, it is.
Out for so long.
You're right.
It is very hard. When you've given your children, when you've given your significant other carte blanche, when you have these different narratives that this what it means to protect the black woman, it's like it is hard.
Yes.
To get that back in line.
Yes.
And an unfortunate thing is that he's in a very, I mean, I don't see no easy way outs in any of this.
Yeah.
Because my man could go out there, he can have a headline tour just like the Kings of Comedy, back when Steve, Bernie Mac, DL, and man Sid was out there doing their thing and make buku amounts of dollars or so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, this lady still has a red table that she can speak from. Say whatever she wants to say about this man who she's been married to for probably nearly 30 some odd years, 30 some years now. And sometimes when I look at these things, I say to myself, there's probably some more information that this lady has on this guy that it's like pulling the strings like a puppeteer on him.
Well, I mean, you can't go no lower. Now's the time to do what you're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it can't get no worse.
It can't get no worse, man. Now is the time, Will. What you gonna do?
Yes.
So can't get no lower.
So let's assess what we just talked about then.
Yeah.
And ladies, if y'all got questions, go ahead, drop your questions. Look,
hold up, brothers. You know it can get lower though, Marv.
Okay, let me hear it.
You know it can get lower.
Help me out. Let me hear it. Help me.
When they start taking shots at your manhood, where man, you've built up, man, this idea of being somewhat of a sex symbol or so like that. And in every relevant term, they find out that you are in, because again, I'm 40, Marv, you older than me, Kelvin, you older than me. And so we from that other era where certain things meant certain things. Let's keep it real 100% on the Love Coach Show. It meant something. Those things, even though we are a progressive society in nature or so like that, there are certain messages and lessons that are germane to us.
I still wouldn't let that bother me. I'd be like, do what you want. If you feel like you got to do. Because Will could still get any woman he won't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's been rumored that he had to drop the pants. But you know what? At this point, listen.
Yeah. So, listen.
I hear what you're saying, bro. But I'm like, listen.
What I have... Look, what I've observed is people have a short memory today, y'all.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro.
And whatever is the headline today, something happened tomorrow, we will forget all about Will Smith.
Yeah.
News cycle.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so people are mostly on what have you done lately? And if you come up with something that is hilarious, that becomes the new talk, then people are easier to forget. Now, some people are never going to forget the old talk, right? They just never going to forget it. But however, the way that that social media moves and how fast things go, I think you can clean it up. So I think overall, right, what we're saying is first introspect.
Yeah.
First, or first or second, getting away from the cameras, get away from the lifestyle, get away from the social media.
Yes.
And get your head together, get your mind together, get your heart together. You know, go out there and do your eat, love, pray. You know, go out there and do some yoga and sit in silence and pray and you know meditate. All of that, do all of that you need to do. And then you got to come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Because although we all watched it, nobody wants to hear about your same old sorry, sad tale about what happened, how dry you are. And no, okay. Yeah. Because people going to say, okay, well, that was months ago. Well, that was a while ago. What are you doing now?
Yep.
And what you're doing now is going to be the thing that gets the new attention.
Yeah, because he can come back from this, definitely. It's just all depends on what he does with home.
Yeah.
One way or other, you got to get it together.
Yeah, man.
He can't keep simping.
All right, fellas, look, is there any point of this that we haven't covered in this idea of what men are thinking, what men are dealing with when it comes to relationships and keeping the balance between alpha and not falling into the beta? Like, is there something that we haven't really covered on this? Or something
ask some of the ladies if real quick. Ask them.
Sure, ladies. If you ladies that are watching, what question do you have about this, or is there something that we didn't cover that you've been you thinking about in this conversation? Drop your comment either on the Facebook side or the YouTube side, and we'll definitely read that off. But we got a couple of comments here already. Let me read some of these. Yolanda says, Will chose to become the simp instead of alpha role with Jada.
She right.
Now look, she says,
that's right.
Perfect example of why man should lead to be alpha. Did he choose to be a beta male mangina?
Yes.
Yeah, because when he first got in that relationship, it should have been established. The roles.
I would say if anybody cares or so like that, read the book. The book, man, details a lot of his sentiments and his feelings. He expresses his displeasure at basically chasing a ghost, competing with Tupac. You know, because she's been on the record. She said that, man. Matter of fact, her daughter
wrote a letter to him. Crazy.
And so the thing is that you have
daughter.
It happening in your household.
In your house.
Yeah. Man.
That's a problem.
It's a problem.
And unfortunately, this is because sometimes, he's agreeing to this. He continues to foster this atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that is what he is going back into. So if he's ever going to change, if it's ever going to be different, then he's going to have to do probably a 180. But I would say read the book because you'll get a glimpse of his mindset when it comes to these things. And you ask yourself, does that make sense or does that line up with who you are?
Definitely don't line up with me.
All right, my girl Isonia, she says, what do you all think about his behavior as a man? We got questions coming in. And why do men stay with women who do this and pass over good women?
It's a good question.
Mars.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Which one you want to answer first? I'll read it again.
Okay, so
She says, "What do you all think about his behavior as a man?" We'll start there.
well, we definitely disagree. It's definitely he's definitely in the simp beta category. It's not good, and it's not good, and it's not setting a good example. You could tell the way their kids are and everything that family is it's just dysfunctional, and it's all based out of pleasing her. So it's definitely not working.
Hmm. James, what do you think of Will's behavior as a man?
I think his behavior as a man is right in line with what he's subjected to and what he's allowed.
Hmm.
I think that as he has to get back, well, whatever values that he has or so like that. Let's be honest, fellas. This may be how he is cut. This is may have be how he is wired and what he believes that should take place in a relationship. These are his ideas and these are his thoughts. Now, granted, I don't subscribe to him, but
Mm-hmm.
this is his idea. And unfortunately, I think we live in a society where people look at things as right or wrong. Is it working or is it not working? If this type of atmosphere has you going on national television and slapping a man just for a off-cuff joke that really wasn't even that deep or didn't even dig into, we got to reevaluate some things.
Fact, fact. Yeah. So my thought about his behavior is, I thought it was sad.
Yep.
I thought it was, I thought it was sad that a man who made his living, we only know about him because he's funny,
Yep.
because of his comedic timing, and
Mhm.
we know about him for all of that, and he couldn't realize that this guy just made a funny joke about my wife's haircut, which
Yeah.
is, you know, the guy, that's as far as the guy could go, is to say he made a funny joke about my wife's haircut. I got out of my chair and smacked the guy.
Sold
Do
him.
you, do you know how many, this guy's from Philly, do you know how many mama jokes he's heard?
Oh
How
yeah.
many mama jokes he's told? How
Mhm.
many your girl's so ugly, your wife's so stanky, like like none of those jokes have ever required somebody to get up and smack somebody unless it really hurt, right? And if you had the nerve to get up and smack somebody who bust a joke on you, it made you look even worse.
Yeah.
So like there's so many different ways that he could have handled that. He could have, if it really got under his skin, he could have went backstage and gave the guy a moment to explain himself, to say, yo, bro, that was a hurtful joke to my wife who's going through an issue. And he's the guy, this guy would have been like, oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't know, I was just
Yeah.
in here like, doing the host thing at the Oscars. That's what they do. They take a jab, right? He could and gave the guy a chance to say something, to do something. So I just thought I thought the behavior was completely off, and it was just not the way that you handle it as a man. He could have went up there, grabbed the mic, and say, "Let me now that you're talking about somebody's wife, let's talk about this outfit you got on," and just went. He could have went to town on the guy. Everybody would have got a good laugh. Like it would have just been another funny moment caught on stage, and they would have went on.
Yeah. I like what Denzel said as far as what his assessment. Denzel said, man, he showed TD Jakes. I don't know if you heard it. He was on the TD Jakes the other day, and he said, man, the devil got a hold of him. That's
He
what he
did
said.
look like it.
A devil got a hold of him, and I don't know. I'm not only gonna say a devil, but definitely Jezzy. I'm gonna call it like it is. That's King. That's King Ahab in full effect, boy.
All right, look. So
I mean,
my
just saying, man.
look, Miss
Denzel
Furlow
got a
speaks.
hold of him.
My girl, and you guys, y'all check out her. She got a
Okay.
YouTube channel too.
All right, gotta check out.
Yeah. So look, she says there's none good. Why not just forgive and move forward?
You haven't addressed the root.
Yes, you can't move forward unless you address the root. There's some issues. We got to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean the problem goes away. That just means the stinking elephant that's perpetually in the room or in the apartment or in the building that we haven't, man, done anything with. And it will continue to plague you and it will continue to bother you until you address the situation.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
in avoidant relationships, one of
Mhm.
the four horsemen of the apocalypse, according to John Gottman, that's what happens, which are predictors of divorce, that is. That is something that happens, is that people are afraid to call things on the carpet for fear, lest, as they say biblically, that then that person will possibly leave them.
Mhm.
It's nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you got to deal with it. You got to fix it. Deal with it and fix it.
Gotta deal with it. Gotta fix it. All right. Let's see. Sonia says, I see this in my family.
What did
Oh,
she
wait,
say?
no. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me get the second part of her question. She said, and why do men stay with women who do this and pass over good women? Why? Marv, why do men stay with women like this and pass over good women?
Yeah, because if you look at, he was on the Oprah, and well, we won't just go with them. I think a lot of times men get with women like that, and one thing I've learned about when men are simped or deceived, a lot of times they're thinking with their other head. They're not thinking with their head of their I'm just gonna keep it. They're not they're not thinking with their head. They're
Yeah.
thinking with the wrong head. And
Mhm.
oftentimes, let's just say women. My dad used to always say, women are the most craftiest creatures on the face of this earth. And I think I'm serious. They're smart. And at the end of the day, these women, they'll get you all open, your nose all open, and you only looking at what she's doing for you as far as sexually, like you said
or
earlier,
or doing to you.
or doing to you. Got your feet curling, and you're not even realizing that you're being deceived. You
Yeah.
like a Samson and Delilah,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Bible's full of stories of men being seduced by women and losing everything that they built.
Mhm.
That's a number one tool. I'll say it this way: the number one tool to Satan used for a woman is to bring a man in to destroy your destiny. Same thing applies for a man. He uses a woman.
Mm. Well said. James, answer that question. Why do men stay with women like her? Like Jada? Women, why do men stay with women like this but pass over good women?
I think sometimes it can be based in trauma. I think sometimes
Mhm.
also some men who have had broken relationships or watched their parents divorce, or maybe they watched their parents stay together for 40 or 50 years. They say to themselves, they have this internal dialogue that, my mom and dad, they made it through those moments. We can make it too. Yes, I know any relationship isn't filled with, popsicles and rainbows, but we can make it to our 40th and 50th anniversary. We can overcome these things. It's somewhat similar to that little engine that could, I think I can. But sometimes you got to know when to turn that damn engine off, man, and go on about your business. And I think that's the society in the day to age that we live in right now, is that people are somewhat wired, they're conditioned differently. We have these little bitty phones that we're plugged into that give us all this information and insight on a various array of topics. And for some people, they have to make that distinction to say it's just not working.
Mm.
But if you aren't secure enough in yourself to make that declaration, if you haven't, if you've abandoned some of your own core values, if your marriage probably was maybe based on, not saying Will and Jada, but for some I'm saying based on deception, it's kind of hard to eat that crow because you're eating that crow in front of other individuals who have held you in such high esteem. Like, for instance, people are singing songs about them and giving them such high adulation about different items, about whom we want to have a relationship like you, or we want to have a relationship like Ozzy and Ruby D. Look, Ozzy and Ruby D had an open relationship. Do your homework. Do you want that? Again, people just do not know necessarily what they're asking for. And they're just married to the frame, but not truly the picture.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Both of what you said. I think that a man stays with a woman like that, and doesn't go on to someone. They said better women, and Miss Furlow got a question. What type of woman is Jada? Because I used the term a woman like Jada. So he said, what type of woman is Jada? Well, that hold off on that for a minute.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is, men choose the woman that he feels secure with.
Yeah.
Whether it's real or false, like whether it's fake or real, like she's the woman that he feels like she understands me. She fulfills a need for me. Listen, that need that she fulfills could be toxic. It could be all of that, but she's still doing something for me that gives me a sense of happiness. Even if it's crooked.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's true.
And so yes, there are other women, right? But even those other women, let's call them nicer women.
Yeah.
Even nicer women are going to have some problems. Right? Because see, some of them are nice to a fault. Some of them are nice because they're manipulating. Some of them are nice because they're just trying to play the nice girl because they don't want to rock the boat, so and they're still going to have their own set of issues. When I'm talking to some people, I had a conversation with a guy who's got he's in a polyamorous relationship, and he wanted to talk about that, and he said, look, it may look like it's all that, but sometimes it's difficult to keep all this going.
Ooh, Lord.
My man said he got to eat his vitamins and stay up because he got to satisfy two women.
That's listen.
Right. And then he realized he also got to satisfy them emotionally.
That's for proof.
He got to pay referee because they start getting into it, and one saw him spending more time with the other.
Oh man.
And it's all of these things, and so his warning to guys who look over here at this grass and it looked like it's good green grass, like with lots of fun. He's like, yo, you just better know what you're getting yourself into before you jump over here and say yes, because it's not all that you think it is. So that's what I think. People have a reason for whatever they do. It satisfies something within them, whether it's good or
and men too. A lot of times don't like change.
That's true. That's true.
Men don't like change. We married. We got you. We're married. I don't want to start over.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really common for men. Right.
Very common. Very common. Men like to know where the furniture is going to be. they don't want to have to come in and try and figure things out.
They don't want to learn a new woman.
Right.
They don't. Yeah. I know a lot of guys just like, listen, I've heard old guys say, listen, I've been with her this long. I know her. I don't want to be with nobody else. I'll just put up with her.
Yeah. Yes. And it's true. Hey, Meredith. Meredith is in the building, dropped in. Look, Ioana got a good point here. She said Jada is a trophy to Will.
She is?
I guess so, to Will. Jada was broken and he was looking for pride and fame, and he was broken too. They fed on each other's ego.
Read the book. Read the book.
Read the book.
Read the book.
Yeah, because she was an actress. You know, she had a little. She was getting busy.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But good stuff. More comments, more questions, ladies. If you have a question, the topic of our show today is we talking about how men think when it comes to dating, relationships, and love. We just used Will Smith and Jada as kind of an example of the conversation. But trust me, the man who's sleeping in your bed has some thoughts. He's got some feelings. He's got some unexpressed, sometimes resentment and things, and you just wonder, why is he doing the things that he's doing? That's what we're answering. We're answering him questions here tonight. So drop your question. It can be about any of those areas. Stay tuned to this side of what we're talking about. Don't ask me why the sun rises in the east and none of that. We're talking about how men think when it comes to dating, relationships, and love, and how men deal with the mental gymnastics that have to be had in their dating life. So we got another question, fellas. Do men deny their attraction to women who they feel are attractive to other guys? I might have to read that again.
Yeah.
Do men deny their attraction to women who they feel are attractive to other guys? What say you?
So she's saying, if you know a woman's attracted to other guys, would you want to pursue her? Is that what she's
Yeah,
saying?
I think that's what she's saying. Like if other guys are checking her out, um, uh, do men deny their attraction to a woman who other guys are checking out?
No, because we all hunters.
Right.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
Men want what they want.
We won't.
Wow.
And if she's she's nice looking and all that, all other men gonna want her. You don't want,
That's
you gotta
correct.
be attracted to the person you with.
That's correct. And
And you're gonna be good on your game. You listen, that
right,
makes me
right.
listen.
May the best man win.
May the best man win, and 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be me.
and
That's what
every
every man
man,
feels, right?
yeah, and every man gonna say the same thing as he should.
As he should.
As he should.
If you're an alpha,
yeah, as he should.
I just had to throw that in there.
All right.
Now
Meredith
beta gonna
said,
be intimidated.
mental gymnastics. She liked that term. Now
Yeah,
that's a funny terminology.
It's gymnastics, bro.
Mental gymnastics. Yes. All right. So he says some men won't approach you because other men are attracted to her.
Well, those are betas.
Some men won't approach because other men are attracted.
That's some man.
Those guys are they swimming low.
Yeah, that's you don't want that type of dude. He ain't confident.
Right.
Can we flip on the other side of that though?
Help talk to me.
The other side of that is, man, some men who are confident themselves, they've seen and they've scoped out who you are. They've looked at you for a minute or so like that. They've sized you up and assessed you. They've done their scouting, reporting their evaluation and their assessments, and they're like, I ain't trying to get on with that.
Yep.
I'll pass to the next person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way because I don't like hoochie looking ladies. Like I'm looking for some class. If you're not classy, you all hanging. I'm like,
So it ain't always about, man, guys not wanting or not being afraid to approach. Some of the situations is he's exposed you. He's been who you are has been revealed to him.
I
And he'll
get
say,
that.
I'll pass.
I will pass, and that's oftentimes a lot of what it is. If you're a high value man or you're a man of purpose, you're gonna be like, I'm good.
Right. Good question. Good answer.
Yeah. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, because a high value man and a man that's a man of purpose, I'm gonna be frank. They're gonna have penis control. Right? They're not gonna just be out there just, they're gonna be disciplined.
Yeah. And they have
money,
to be,
man. Go ahead.
Yeah, they have to be because that highly qualified the guy James Bond is busy
Busy.
and he understands that Yeah, yeah. And he understands that he can't give his attention, give his sexual attention. He can't spread it around. He can't give his time to everybody.
To everybody.
Because if he does, then he's going to be losing on the other end.
It's
And
gonna cost you one way or another.
the other end is more important than this end.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Especially if you got a lot to lose too.
All right. Meredith's got a question for you, you guys. Classy. What do you consider classy versus hoochie? You can't tell just by one look if a woman is that way.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead, James.
I'm gonna say this is that when we talking about certain type of men that are in certain type of industries, and it's the funniest thing because you start to look at, okay, where do I frequent? I go. I mean, I'm not always at the Piggly Wiggly. I'm not at the Kroger's all the time. Sometimes I'm meeting governors. Sometimes I'm having to do speaking engagements at the mayoral office, or sometimes I'm out there and just in society trying to keep my brand, my name together. So
Mhm.
if I'm with a young lady or so like that who is my guest or is my companion, and she has on a sequin outfit where I can pretty much see everything that God gave her and then some, and that which has probably been surgically altered, I don't know how I feel about that. Because
Yep.
now, man, when I'm going into certain sectors and certain places, positions, they're looking more about they're looking at more what she looks like as
Mhm.
opposed to what I have between my ears and what
Mhm.
I'm able to do within the marketplace and what I'm
Mhm.
able to command. And so that's not necessarily and sometimes the unwanted attention, those type of guys, we don't like that.
Mhm.
It's
No.
bad for business. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's bad for the bottom line or so.
Yeah.
And so that I believe you can ascertain within a small amount of time of a person of what they wear or who they are by how they represent themselves.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Like I like a Michelle Obama, not a Megan Stallion.
Okay. Okay. Now somebody gonna come at your neck for that, but
I'm okay with
everybody
that.
has an opinion
That's she
and
asked, that's my opinion.
likes and dislikes. All
Hmm.
right, my girl Tamika Michelle Johnson. She's the love attorney.
Okay.
she's the matchmaking attorney.
Okay.
And yeah, she's a good people. She said, loving the conversation, fellas, loving the discussion, fellas. That's what she had to say there. Um, so wait, somebody had a question. Let's see. Wait a minute. Let me pull it up. Uh, she said, "Is that true? Disciplined, highly qualified people don't exercise on his options."
So can you read that again, Kelvin?
She said, "Is that true? Disciplined, highly qualified, it's meaning like high value men
Yeah.
don't exercise on his options,
Yeah.
meaning like he's not smashing just because he can
Yeah.
smash."
That's
Absolutely.
uh, it's crazy. It's crazy we having this conversation because uh Kevin Samuels was talking about that same exact thing today. It was on his timeline where
Okay.
he was
What?
talking about high value men have options. Ladies, you need to understand that if you want to be with them. And it's one of the most interesting thing because just because he has options doesn't mean he acts on all of those options.
There you
Mm-hmm.
go.
Let's let's
Mm-hmm.
let's 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 divide that quickly. It's like, okay, I know that I can do this. I know
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
right.
have enough money, I have enough time, enough ability, but that doesn't mean that I want to do. Why? Because the end does not suggest the means in this
Yeah.
case. So, like,
Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
why
justify.
would I go and mess with someone who can ruin my name, my career,
Yeah.
and what I spent 10, 20 years of building? And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, even if I do enact upon it, NDA will be probably present for me in that space where I will sue the hell out of her just
Mm-hmm.
in case. Why? Because my name and my business is paramount in this process.
Mm-hmm.
So they have options, but they don't always enact upon them, though.
And I'm gonna be honest with you too. How many stories we've heard of women falsely accusing men of sexual assault? You gotta be careful of that these days, right?
Frequently.
And you got that element. You got the element of I've known some folks that got stuck up having a woman, bringing a woman back to their room or back to their house. Had some girls, has some folks, has some dudes waiting. So you gotta be wise these days, and when you're meeting people and you're allowing people in your space,
Yes,
you have to
yes,
be wise.
absolutely.
I've seen and heard some stuff, man. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
All
I'm a,
right.
right.
Look, no, it's true. It's totally true. Anita, everybody go ahead and hit that like button. Everybody that's watching right now, go ahead and hit the like button. It lets the social media machine know that we're doing something over here, and it'll get out to more folks. And so, um, Marv, go ahead and give us your thoughts. I'm gonna go after the ones who get them robbed. Oh snap! Go ahead and give us your final take on this idea of how men think in relationships. What's going on in men's minds today? Share your thoughts, and then tell the folks how they can follow you.
Uh, well, I definitely say men are one thing I want to say to ladies that when men talk, you got to really listen to what we're saying. Don't go by what you think we're saying. Go by to what we're saying out of our mouths, right? And then if you're in a relationship, you got to allow that man to just be honest with you. Because sometimes, a lot of times, men don't want to be honest because if they do, if you're not emotionally and mentally mature, you're gonna go off the deep end, right? Then they're gonna be like, "Well, Dag, I don't want to say nothing to you because you're gonna be flipping all out, or I can't even express myself." So, I just wanted to throw that out to the ladies that if you are in a relationship and the man is being honest with you or talking to you, allow him the space to be able to express himself. Because some men we have emotions. We're not all tough, right? We want to be able to be able to confide some things in you. Um, so that's really important. And a lot of times too, when men are ladies got to understand too, when men are ready to say, okay, I'm ready to find me somebody, you got to make sure that when you're meeting that man and you're talking to that man, that you two are on the same page. If you feel as though you're not going in the direction he's going, it's okay to say, okay, we could just be friends. And then you find the one that you find the one where you are on the same page, and you're more compatible. So that's important, right? Just because a man looks good or he treats you good, don't mean you got to be in a relationship with him.
Mm.
Because a lot of ladies, just because you're a good man, you treat him good, and he's the one. No, if you're not headed in the same direction, there's some things that he wants that you're not willing to do. Then you move on until you find the one that does. So that's my little take on it as far as relationships. And you can find me on I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. On Instagram, I'm on Marvin Byers, the realtor, because I do real estate. And then on Facebook, you can hit me up, Marvin Byers, on Facebook.
All right, all right, all right, brother James Bush. Uh, give us your final words on our topic tonight, talking about how men think when it comes to relationships and the things that men are going through mentally today.
Well, what I first of all I'm gonna say, first of all, thanks, Kelvin, for bringing me on your show once again, man. I appreciate the opportunity to have conversations like this because it's so needed. And where there is no conversation, there's no stimulation, and then we continue to move in the dark ages as we have been. I think the first and foremost thing that I want to say is not men. All men are monoliths. We don't move along the same ideas and patterns as everyone. A lot of us have had different backgrounds and settings and experiences, have traumatic experiences, stuff that we have yet to heal from or sat on anyone's couch about. And so my point being is that in this day and age, first and foremost, ask yourself, who am I? As far as for ladies, as well as men too, who am I? And who are the individuals that compliment me and I can compliment them on their journey through life based on what I have experienced and
Mm.
what is germane to me. I think that is so important because sometimes we see a lot of things. I mean, we're a very, very intelligent generation, but sometimes we've missed the boat altogether. Have. We do things that we think will work out well and that we think will resonate and reverberate to future generations, and they really do not, because we've forgotten the core values of who we are. You can't. It's one thing to say you can change your address, you can change friends, you can change jobs, you can change cars, you can change your drawers, but you can't change who you are. And I think that's something that many of us, man, have gotten away from. But again, my name is James Bush. You can find me on Instagram at my_of_a_man podcast, yada, yada, yada. It's on there. You can Google me, James Bush Nashville. You'll find me on there, bushcounselingservices.com. You can also find my podcast, Mind of a Man Podcast, James Bush. It's on YouTube. It's on Stitcher, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, wherever the popular podcasts are. So we're also on iHeart Power Up Radio on Mondays and Fridays in the morning. Take care.
Okay. All right. James, if they want to reach out to you, which way is the best way for them to reach out to you? Maybe there's somebody here looking for a black male counselor, a therapist. What's the best way for them to find you?
Tell you what, they can email me directly, james@justjamesbush.com. That's james@justjamesbush.com. And me and my assistant, we will respond.
Yes. My words that I want to leave the audience is just listen. Right? If you want to know how a man is thinking, what he's going through, what he's dealing with, just listen. Sometimes people want to talk. Sometimes people want to be heard more than they want to listen.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, in this time right now, there's a lot of men are just unsure. They're unsure of what they should do next. They're unsure of like how to be a man. If I be too much of a man, too masculine, I'm gonna offend this person. If I don't do enough, I'm gonna, not be enough and be talked about on this side. And so there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things grabbing for men's attention. And so the best way to just understand a man is to listen.
Yeah.
If there's a man in your life, ask him, like, what's going on? Tell me something that's in your mind and in your thoughts that you really haven't expressed. And all I'm going to do is listen. You'd be surprised about what he comes out with. Because often men don't have a safe space to just talk about whatever is going on the inside.
Yeah.
And so, yes, his woman can be that, and he's still be an alpha.
Absolutely.
His woman can be that. You can be that soft place that he needs to land, and he can be the hard, solid individual that you need as well. And it just works. So, but it has to start. What was that? Stephen Covey talked about starting with the end in mind, beginning with the end in mind. How do you want it to end out? Start with that in mind, and then start from where you are. You guys, thank y'all so much for being here. Thank y'all so much for coming through. T. Michelle, she said she's offering a book. She got the book that she knows about, Overcoming Man Laws by Oliver Marcel. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. I had him on the show, matter of fact. Yeah.
Oh, that's Marcel. Yeah.
I had him on the show. Yeah.
I'm gonna get him on this show. Make that move.
Yeah. Make that move.
Yes. We already we're in each other's world. We just got to figure out the timing.
That's what's up.
And the coming together. So he's coming. He's coming.
Yes, sir.
So you guys, look, if you want to reach out to me, I will give a love coach session. If you can't figure out why you can't hold on to the man that you desire, or you can't even find him, you're just tired. Like the lady said earlier, I'm just tired. If you're just tired, maybe it's time for you to get some help. Send me an email right now. Let me see if I can pull up. That's the That's not the email, but you can donate if you like. Yes, so send me an email to lovecoachatlanta@gmail.com. I'll give you the social media special, the 30-minute coaching session. I'll give it to you for $99 but you gotta make it happen. You gotta make a move. You gotta send me an email tonight. Otherwise, my rate is $250 per session, $250 per session, but I'll give it to you for $99 if you send me an email immediately, and I'm gonna ask you if you sent it immediately, and I'll send you the invoice. I'll send you the information, and we can schedule your session. So we got a lot more to go, and if you guys like this kind of stuff, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, then hit the bell so you don't miss anything. And subscribe on YouTube. There's much more to come, as well. We just need y'all support. Hit that like button, hit the share button, and it will be awesome. We appreciate it so much. So there's a lot more coming, but I'm gonna stop right there. Thank y'all so much for being here. We appreciate you so much. Till next time, peace.
All right. Appreciate you, brothers.
And love.
Jeez.
Bye.